You'd think the worst part was catching them. It wasn't. The worst part was what happened after. The Monday morning after that Saturday, I walked into the office like a ghost. I sat at my desk pretending to work, pretending not to feel every eye burning into my back. Because somehow, someway, they all knew, whispers in the hallways, quick glances when I wasn't looking. That fake, pitying smile Mike gave me when he passed my cubicle. I could feel the humiliation dripping off the walls. But I told myself, just hang on, finish your projects, find a way out quietly. I thought maybe I could survive it. I thought maybe I could salvage something. I was wrong. 2 days later, Mike called me into his office. Same office where he once shook my hand and said, "You're going places." Now, he wouldn't even meet my eyes. "We've been reviewing your performance," he said, voice slick as oil, "and it's not meeting expectations." I stared at him, silent, waiting for the punchline. But there wasn't one. "We need to let you go," he said, sliding a termination letter across the desk like it was just another Tuesday. No thanks for my years of work. No acknowledgement of what I'd built for the company. Just a stack of lies wrapped in a corporate bow. I sat there for a second, breathing it all in. The smell of betrayal, of rot, of everything I had poured into this place, this life being tossed out like yesterday's trash. And Mike, he just sat there, stone-faced, like I was a minor inconvenience he couldn't wait to get rid of. I wanted to scream. I wanted to flip the desk, to rip down every facade he had built. But I didn't. I stood up. I picked up the letter, and I walked out. No drama, no last words, no giving them the satisfaction of seeing me break. But inside, I was burning. Because in one swift move, he had taken everything. My marriage, my career, my dignity. And somehow, I knew he wasn't done yet. Losing everything feels a lot like standing at the edge of a cliff. The ground beneath you crumbles. The wind screams in your ears. And you have two choices: fall or learn to fly. For a while, I fell. I spiraled. Long nights spent staring at the ceiling. Endless questions playing on repeat in my head. Was I not good enough? Was I so easy to betray? How could everything I built mean nothing? I wanted to hate them, Mike, Emily, everyone who stood by and watched it happen. And for a while, I did. But hate is heavy. It poisons you from the inside out. And one morning, months later, I woke up and realized something. They already took enough from me. I wasn't going to give them anything more. Not my anger. Not my sadness. Not one more second of my life. So I started rebuilding, piece by broken piece. I found a new job at a company that actually valued integrity. I made new friends, the kind who didn't measure worth by bloodlines or office politics. I focused on myself, on healing, on growing, on finding who I was without the titles, without the trophies, without the lies. And you know what? I didn't just survive. I thrived. Today, looking back, I don't feel anger when I think of Mike or Emily. I feel gratitude. Because their betrayal showed me something I never would have seen on my own. That sometimes the worst thing that ever happens to you is actually the best thing that ever happens for you. It forces you to tear down everything fake in your life so you can build something real. If you're listening to this, if you're standing at your own cliff's edge, thinking your world is over, it's not. You're just being pushed toward a new beginning. And maybe, just maybe, it's the beginning you were always meant for. The moment I opened that email, I knew my life was over. Not just my job, not just my marriage, everything. 1 second, I had a future. The next, I was standing in the ruins of everything I had ever worked for. You want to know how it happened? How my boss, the man I trusted, stole my wife and then fired me for poor performance? Sit tight, because once you hear what really went down, you'll understand why some betrayals cut deeper than any knife. And why sometimes the people you trust the most are the ones holding the blade. At first, I didn't want to believe it. I mean, this was Mike, my boss, The man who gave me my first real shot. The guy who used to invite me and my wife over for barbecue weekends like we were family. The idea that anything shady could be happening? Unthinkable. But doubt. It has a way of worming its way into your brain. No matter how hard you try to shake it off, it started small. Mike suddenly had urgent projects that kept my wife Emily late at company events even when I wasn't invited. Quick glances between them during meetings. Inside jokes I wasn't a part of anymore. Text messages she quickly hid when I walked into the room. Still, I told myself, you're overthinking it. They just work closely together. Don't ruin a good thing by being paranoid. But then came the night that changed everything. It was a Thursday. She said she was staying late at work to finish a client proposal with Mike. I believed her, or at least I wanted to, until I realized her car wasn't at the office parking lot when I drove by at 10 p.m. I waited. Maybe she parked somewhere else. Maybe she took an Uber. Hours passed. No calls, no text. And when she finally stumbled in the door past midnight, hair messy, smelling like a cocktail of cheap perfume and regret, she barely looked me in the eye. Sorry, she said. Work ran late. I nodded. But in that moment, a part of me died. A small, naive piece, the one that still believed trust was stronger than betrayal. I didn't confront her that night. I didn't scream. I didn't accuse. I just stared at the ceiling while she slept beside me, listening to the sound of my heart breaking one beat at a time. Because deep down, I knew the truth. I just didn't have the proof. You can only live in denial for so long before the truth punches you in the face. For me, that punch came on a Saturday afternoon. Emily said she had a work meeting with Mike. At a hotel, it's just a neutral place to meet clients, she said without even blinking. Neutral, right? Something inside me, something primal, finally snapped. I told her, sure, go ahead, I'll be working from home. But the moment she left, I grabbed my keys and followed. I stayed far enough behind to not get spotted. Watched her turn into the hotel parking lot. And I waited. 10 minutes. 15. 20. No clients. No briefcases. Just Mike's black SUV pulling up beside her. My heart hammered against my ribs. They laughed as they got out of their cars. No laptops. No folders. Just smiles, lingering touches, and the kind of body language that screamed secrets. I could have left right then. I could have spared myself the final blow. But I didn't. I followed them into the lobby, heart pounding so loud I was sure someone could hear it. They didn't check into the conference room. They checked into a suite. Together, I stood there, frozen, watching the front desk clerk hand them a key card with a knowing smile. I remember thinking, maybe this is some horrible misunderstanding. Maybe it's not what it looks like. But deep down, I knew. And still, I needed to see it with my own eyes. I waited outside their door. Waited until I heard it. Laughter. Whispers. The undeniable sound of a zipper being pulled down. And in that moment, something inside me shattered so completely, I swear I felt it echo in my bones. I didn't burst in. I didn't scream. I just stood there, alone, on the other side of that door, listening to the life I built crumble to dust. And when I finally walked away, I wasn't the same person who had arrived. Something inside me had died, and something else, something colder, was born.